There's a moment most men completely miss, not because it's hidden, but because they're looking for something loud, when in reality, attraction speaks in silence. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she doesn't always announce it with obvious words. Instead, she creates space, subtle, intentional moments where it's just the two of you. This isn't you-da loves or coincidence, it's a quiet form of effort that often goes unnoticed if you're not paying attention. You might see it in the way she suggests doing something simple together, like grabbing coffee, asking for help with something she could easily handle on her own, or extending a conversation when others have already left. These aren't big, dramatic moves, but that's exactly the point. Real interest often hides behind normal, everyday situations. What matters is the pattern. One moment alone could mean nothing. But when it keeps happening, when she consistently finds reasons to pull you into her space, it starts to tell a different story. She's choosing proximity, and choice is powerful. There's also a level of comfort behind this behavior. Being alone with someone requires a sense of trust, even in small doses. If she's willingly creating those moments, it means she feels safe enough to lower her guard around you. That's not something people give freely. But here's where awareness becomes important. Creating opportunities doesn't mean forcing outcomes. It's not a signal to rush things or assume too much. It's simply an opening, a door she's leaving slightly unlocked to see if you'll step in the right way. The smartest move you can make is to match that energy. Be present in those moments. Don't overcomplicate them. Let the interaction feel natural, not pressured. Because often, it's in these quiet one-on-one spaces where real connection begins to take shape, without noise, without distraction, just two people feeling each other out in a more honest way. When a woman feels drawn to you, her body often reveals it before her words ever do. Body language is instinctive. It's not something people consciously control every second. So when her posture becomes open and inviting around you, it's usually a sign of comfort and growing attraction. You'll notice small but meaningful shifts. Instead of crossing her arms or turning away, she faces you directly. Her shoulders relax, her movements feel softer, more natural. It's like her body is saying, "I'm at ease here." And that ease is important, because attraction doesn't grow in tension, it grows in comfort. Eye contact is another powerful indicator. If she holds your gaze a little longer than usual, or keeps returning to it even after looking away, that's not unsee. Eyes are one of the hardest things to fake. They reflect attention, curiosity, and sometimes even a quiet form of vulnerability. Then there's proximity. An open body doesn't just mean posture, it also shows up in distance. She might stand or sit a little closer than necessary, not in a forced way, but naturally, as if being near you feels right. These small adjustments in space often go unnoticed, but they carry meaning. You might also see subtle gestures like her playing with her hair, adjusting her clothing, or angling her body toward you even in a group setting. These are signs that her focus is on you, even when there are other distractions around. But just like anything else, context matters. One signal on its own doesn't tell the whole story. What you're looking for is consistency, a pattern of openness that appears specifically when she's around you. The key is not to overreact or overanalyze. Instead, recognize it for what it is, a quiet invitation. When her body language opens up, it's a reflection of how she feels internally. And if you meet that openness with calm confidence, you create a space where that connection can naturally grow stronger. When a woman is truly interested in you, her investment goes beyond surface-level talk. Conversations stop being just casual exchanges and start carrying emotional weight. It's no longer just about passing time, it becomes about connection. You'll notice she doesn't stick to safe, predictable topics. Instead of short replies or generic questions, she begins to explore deeper ground. She asks about your thoughts, your experiences, even the way you see things. And more importantly, she listens. Not just to respond, but to understand. That kind of attention is rare, and it's intentional. Another sign is how she remembers details. Things you mention casually, your preferences, your stories, even small moments, she brings them up later. That shows she's mentally and emotionally present when she's with you. People don't hold on to those details unless the person matters to them. There's also a shift in vulnerability. At first, conversations might feel light and easy. But as her interest grows, she starts sharing more of herself, her opinions, her feelings, even things she wouldn't usually open up about quickly. That's a form of trust, and trust is never given without reason. You might also notice the effort she puts into keeping the conversation alive. She doesn't let it die out easily. If there's silence, she fills it. If the energy drops, she brings it back. That consistency shows she values the interaction itself, not just the attention. But here's the key: emotional investment isn't loud or dramatic, it's steady. It builds over time through presence, curiosity, and genuine engagement. Your role isn't to take advantage of that, it's to match it. When you respond with the same level of sincerity, it creates balance. And in that balance, something real starts to form. Because at the end of the day, when someone invests emotionally in you, they're not just talking, they're choosing you, moment by moment, through every conversation you share. When a woman is interested in you, one of the more subtle signs shows up in the way she looks for your reaction. It's not obvious or needy, it's quiet, almost instinctive. She might say something, then glance at you for a split second, as if your response matters just a little more than everyone else's. This can show up in different ways. Maybe she shares a story and watches how you react, whether you laugh, agree, or show interest. Or she might make a small joke, then quickly check your expression. That moment of checking isn't random. It's her measuring connection, seeing if you're on the same wavelength. Sometimes it's even simpler than that. She might adjust something about herself, her words, her tone, even her behavior, based on how you respond. Not in a fake way, but in a natural attempt to align with you. When someone values your opinion, they start to care about how they're perceived through your eyes. You might also notice her seeking validation in indirect ways. For example, she could mention something she did or achieved, not to brag, but to see how you respond. Your reaction becomes important because it reflects how you see her, and that matters to her more than she'll openly admit. But this isn't about insecurity. It's about emotional investment. When someone is drawn to you, your opinion carries weight. They don't just exist around you, they become aware of you. The key here is not to overplay it. If you respond with exaggerated approval or try too hard to impress, it can break the natural flow. Instead, stay grounded. Be genuine in your reactions. Let them come naturally, because what she's really looking for isn't perfection, it's authenticity. And when your reactions are real, it builds trust. It shows her that what she's sensing isn't one-sided, that there's a real connection forming between both of you, not just in words, but in the subtle exchange of attention and emotion. One of the most natural signs of growing attraction is something people rarely notice in the moment: mirroring. When a woman starts matching your energy and rhythm, it usually isn't planned or intentional. It just happens, and that's what makes it powerful. You'll see it in small ways at first. If you're calm and relaxed, she gradually settles into that same pace. If you're playful, she responds with the same lightness. It's like your energy sets the tone, and she instinctively meets you there. This kind of alignment doesn't come from effort, it comes from connection. Even the flow of conversation starts to sync. You speak, she responds in a similar tone. You pause, she gives space. The rhythm feels smooth, almost effortless. There's less interruption, less forcing, and more natural back and forth. When two people fall into that kind of rhythm, it's a strong sign they're comfortable with each other. You might also notice subtle physical mirroring. She might adopt similar gestures, posture, or movements without realizing it. If you lean in slightly, she might do the same. If you slow down, she follows. These small reflections are often subconscious, but they reveal how tuned in she is to you. What's important to understand is that mirroring reflects emotional alignment. It shows she's not just present physically, she's engaged with you on a deeper level. She's picking up on your cues and responding in real time. But again, this isn't something you force or test. If you try to control it, it becomes unnatural. The real value comes from recognizing it and allowing it to develop on its own. Your role is simple: stay consistent in your energy. Be grounded, be clear, and let her meet you there. Because when someone starts to mirror you naturally, it means there's a connection forming beneath the surface. Quiet, unspoken, but very real. Most guys think attraction is obvious: big gestures, clear signals, something undeniable. But real desire doesn't usually show up like that. It's quieter, more subtle, and far more powerful. If you don't understand these hidden signs, you'll either miss your moment or worse, misread it completely. Speech. Let me tell you something most people won't say directly. Attraction, especially from a woman, is rarely loud. It's layered, it's emotional before it's physical. And if you're only looking for obvious signals, you're already behind. The first shift you need to make is awareness. Not overthinking, not analyzing every little move, but becoming present enough to notice patterns. Because when a woman is genuinely drawn to you, she doesn't just appear, she positions herself. You'll notice she finds reasons to be around you. Not forced, not awkward, natural. Maybe it's a conversation that stretches longer than it should. Maybe it's her choosing proximity when she doesn't have to. That's not random. That's intention, just expressed softly. And then there's her body language. People underestimate this all the time. Words can be filtered, behavior can be controlled. But the body leaks truth. If she's facing you, leaning slightly in, relaxed instead of guarded, that's comfort. And comfort is the gateway to everything else. But here's where most men mess up. They rush. They see one signal and jump 10 steps ahead. That's not confidence, that's impatience. Real confidence is slowing down and letting the connection breathe. Because if she's investing emotionally, asking deeper questions, remembering small details, reacting to what you say, that's not casual. That's her stepping closer without saying it directly. She's testing the space between you. And yes, she'll watch you. Not in an obvious way, but in small moments. Your reactions, your tone, how you handle yourself. It's not about approval in a needy sense. It's about alignment. She wants to feel that being drawn to you makes sense. Then comes the subtle mirroring. The way she matches your energy, your pace, even your mood. That's not coincidence. That's connection forming in real time. When two people start sensing like that, it means there's a rhythm building. But listen carefully, none of this means ownership, pressure, or assumption. Attraction is an invitation, not a guarantee. The strongest move you can make is to recognize it without forcing it. Because what separates a man who understands this from one who doesn't is patience, awareness, control. You don't chase what's already moving toward you. You meet it halfway, with clarity, with respect, and without breaking the moment by trying to control it. And when you start seeing these signs for what they really are, not fantasies, not assumptions, but quiet signals of interest, you stop guessing and start understanding.